Hi folks, welcome back. This series of videos is going to be dedicated to a basic veneered box, which I'm going to get you to make along with me. Okay, so basically what components do we need to make this box? Well, all my veneered boxes, I use a core material of solid wood and MDF. Okay, I use MDF because as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the most stable things that you can use for veneering. Some people use plywood, that's up to them. I prefer this. Okay, so you're going to start off, if you're making this, going to make this box from sort of scratch, you're going to start off with, you're going to need these components here. Now we're going to put a wee list at the end of the video that's going to show you the sizes, the thicknesses that you'll need to produce the core. Okay, that's what you need to start off with. You need the core. Okay, now it just so happens that we're going to supply a kit. You're going to be able to get it online, more details later on, but basically this kit is going to be suitable to people who really, you know, can't afford to go to the veneering company and buy a bundle of veneer. You know, that really only sort of need a couple of pieces of veneer for the project. Also, they may not be able to get, you know, sycamore. They may not even have the tools to bring these components down to size. So we're going to supply a kit, and what's in the kit is, you're going to start off with 2 pieces of the core material. Okay, this will do you a side, a front, a side and a back. Okay, start off with that, and then you're going to have your veneers, which will be, the first kit anyway is going to be in walnut. Okay, so you're going to have 4 pieces of walnut veneer. Each piece will be veneered both sides so that it's balanced. Okay, what you'll also get is a lid and base, which will be moisture resistant MDF, you know, 9mm. Okay, so 2 pieces of that. You'll also get 2 pieces of walnut veneer for the lid, because we actually don't veneer the base, it will be lined. You will also get some suede, some lovely green suede for the inside. Again, we're going to sort of do variations of the kit, so you know, so that'll do the inside. You'll get some card and some A4 double-sided tape. And last of all, a pair of Neat Hinges, which of course you need anyway. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to have a wee sort of brief chat about veneers, just to start off with. If you sort of purchase veneers from a veneering company, there'd be a right side and a wrong side to the veneers. In other words, the right side should pretty much always face up. Now if you're book matching, of course that's impossible, because one's going to be up, one's going to be down. But generally if you're veneering, there's a right and wrong side. And the reason for this, when it's knife cut, one side sort of gets ripped out a wee bit and the other side is slightly raised. What you want is the side that's slightly raised to be the side up. And if you hold it to the light and tilt it, you can sort of see, when you check from both sides, you can see there's a difference. Now, not all veneers show this up. The likes of, probably you wouldn't see it maybe that much on oak. You might see it more sort of in sort of dyed veneers, you know, that have really been through the works. So keep a wee eye for that there. On this project, to be quite honest, walnut is pretty decent, both sides. Okay, just for future projects and any other veneers you're going to sort of use. Okay, so what I want to also talk about, I want to talk about some glues. Okay, so there's lots of glues on the market, you know, but my first sort of go-to choice for veneering would be, it's a two-part UF glue. Now, it's called Board-On. I'm not too sure if it's available in the States. You know, I think, you know, there's an alternative which is called casing mite, I think you call it. Anyway, this is my go-to glue. You know, it's available in England for most of the veneering projects. Okay, now it's a pretty reasonable price, two-part, contains a wee bit of moisture, but it's basic. It's generally it's for veneer. Okay. Now, off the sort of shelf, one part glue is this sort of yellow woodworkers glue, which again is a very good glue, but my sort of dislike on sort of the likes of these glues is, you know, they contain moisture, and you're sort of like, you put, say you have several components to make up, you put your glue on, you put your veneer on, you know, within sort of like literally seconds the veneer is starting to curl, you know, you've got to tape it down, you know. Not really my preferred choice. My preferred choice for sort of veneering, especially if you're sort of doing sort of multiple sort of pieces, is sort of epoxy. It doesn't contain any moisture. You can roller it on, it's got quite an open time, and there's even sort of two different sort of like speeds. So if you're doing sort of like really lots of sort of components and you want to get them into the press, you can go for the slow speed. And when you put it on, you put your veneer down on top of it, it doesn't curl the veneer, which is perfect. Slightly more expensive, and it's got quite a sort of cure time. So really it's the type of thing you put in sort of last thing at night and let it sit overnight. Okay? So, let's get on to sort of veneering and veneering presses. Not everybody will have a veneering press. We are lucky to have a couple of manual presses, which we can actually push together to veneer long pieces and so forth. But generally we sort of do use them for sort of veneering lids and so forth. Like, we also are very lucky to have this manual frame press. Great for curve work and also for flat panels. Now, we didn't start off with these. We started off the way a lot of sort of woodworkers start off, you know, and we start off with a poor man's veneer press, which is basically a couple of pieces of sort of 18mm MDF, melamine, plywood, whatever, some foam, some tin foil, and some clamps. Okay, so I'm going to show you what you would and how you would use this here. If you don't have a veneering press, this is how you would sort of, you know, veneer your core material. Okay, so you've got your core material, you've applied your choice of glue, okay, on both sides. Okay, you can add a wee bit of tape if you want to, and then the tin foil is just there to stop if there's any bleed through, just to stop any sticking, because you don't want foam sticking into the grain. Okay, so okay, tin foil over, top piece, a line. Okay, this type of clamp, whatever type of clamp, just, you know, as long as it has a deep enough sort of throat to get to the middle. Okay, so put on your middle clamp first, just so if you put on the end clamp, it's going to be like a seesaw. Okay, so put on the middle one first, and then start adding outside ones. Okay guys, you just want to make sure you're sort of in the middle and sort of evenly laid out. And that's basically it. Just leave them in under pressure for as long as the glue, you know, if it's a PVA glue or the yellow woodworkers glue, you know, under pressure for an hour, it's pretty good. If it's the UF sort of board on, you know, an hour again. Now, you can take it out from under pressure after an hour, but really, you know, you should sort of let it sit for a good 12 hours before you start working on it, okay? If you're using epoxy, overnight, okay? Now, that is how you would veneer the likes of your carcass. You could obviously, if you've got sort of deeper clamps, you could put multiple pieces in there, and it's a cheap way to do it, okay? And you can do the same for when it comes to actually veneering the lid. I mean, we will be using the wee manual presses, but you know, you just need sort of smaller pieces. So this would be your lid. Same sort of principle, only you're going to need clamps that are sort of, you know, with quite a deep throat, because the idea is that you want to be sort of hitting at least center, okay? So guys, we're going to veneer the lid first, okay? I'm using epoxy. If you're going to use epoxy, make sure you add some colloidal silica, because it'll be too thin, okay? So you need to add about approximately sort of 5%. Now what we use is to roller it on. We use these wee sort of gloss rollers. Now they're not emulsion rollers, they're gloss, so they've got a very sort of fine sort of foam cell. So the idea is not to put on too much, okay? If you put too much on, it has to go somewhere. In other words, it just comes right through the grain, okay? And you don't want to be using a brush. It's not really a good way to sort of control the amount. Plus, these things are pretty quick. Okay, what you want to do too is, just bear with me. You just want to spread out your epoxy, because when epoxy is in a thick lump, it will cure, it'll heat up and cure very quick. When you spread it out, it sort of keeps the sort of open time a wee bit longer, okay? So let's get this off. And you can use these wee sort of gloss rollers for the other sort of glues that we mentioned. It's not just for epoxy. They're very good, they're cheap, and I say they put on a nice even film, which is what you want for veneer. Okay, remember now, we're only going to veneer the inside of the lid at this stage. The outside will be veneered later on, okay? I'll explain later on, but only one side. So just align the veneer, your finger, okay? Now PVA glues and the yellow glue, they grab very quick, so always put your veneer down lightly first. When you have good alignment, then you can push it down. That veneer is a wee bit bubbly, so we're just going to add a wee bit of tape. Okay. And there. Turn it over onto your tin foil, your foams underneath, and your 18mm. Of course, if you're using the clamps, you need piece for the top, which would be this, and we can still use it anyway, again into the veneer press. Okay. Okay guys, moderate pressure. You don't have to be swinging on it, just firm pressure. Okay. Now, this is our core material for the carcass. As you can see, that's a nice even coat. You don't want big lumps like this, you know, that's going to be no good for anybody. Okay, so you want to get that distributed. Okay, get your veneer. Remember I said before, put it down lightly. Just a line. And then with this part of your hand, just rub that down. Guys, don't rub like that. You'll end up with splinters in your, oh my goodness. Okay, turn that over. Boom. Same with this one. Okay. Okay. Okay, another side of that one. A line, down gently. A line. Okay, let's get this one over. Whereas the drawback with these wee sort of gloss rollers is they don't really sort of hold lots of material, you know, so you have to keep them back. Wee bit of exercise. Okay, just make sure you get the ends. Lovely. Next piece. There we go. Okay, tin foil. On you go. Just align that with the bottom piece. Okay, so in the veneering press, got a wee bit of breather fabric. Okay, on we go. Goes down. Pressed on. Okay, folks. Now the rest of the epoxy just sort of that's for the bin. That can't be cleaned. That's for the bin as well. And on the next time, we're going to sort of these will come out of the press, and we'll start tuning things up and getting this box made. Okay. See you soon.